Mingo Maniacs stayed up late to sit through an ugly and frustrating 2-0 loss to AV Alta in USL League One After Dark. Today on the show, Ethan and I talk through what went wrong and how to fix it. Plus, assistant head coach Patrick Nyarko joins to talk team cohesion, leadership, and lots more. It's the 608 Soccer Show. Let's go.
Get more greens. When the good fiber, the flow gone cyber. Vamos los flamingos flock tighter. All we do is give that good try. Goes ahead and playlist on Spotify. Do da do just like shy. It's that simple word so fly.
What is up, flock and friends? It is I, Rob Chappell, with another edition of 608 Soccer Show. And with me, as always, Ethan Maurice. How you doing, sir?
Ready to go, ready to yap. There's we learned a lot this week, I think, about forward.
That's a silver lining. That's the one way to think about it.
Yes. I think I cannot wait to get back to Breeze finally. I mean, we're as close as we've been all year to coming back.
Very close.
And I can't wait to see the boys in pink and blue.
Let me tell you, if you're planning on coming to that game and don't have a ticket yet, you better get moving because there aren't very many left.
Yeah.
Which is a little surprising. I know that the first league match is going to be sold out. I wasn't sure that everybody was going to be so excited about the cup. But yeah, there's not many tickets available. Also, not very many tickets available for the Rally Madison home opener, which is the following Friday, or the following Saturday, rather, the 23rd. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. But I'm such a skeptic and a cynic, and I'm very pleasantly surprised that match is almost sold out also.
Yeah.
Couple of news items to hit before we talk about this match, this 2-0 loss to AV Alta. First of all, there's the Ford Madison Town Hall the leading up to the home opener on Thursday at 6. You're going to go to that, right? And that's at Bruce Stevens Field. There is a spot. There's like a link to register and submit questions. I don't know if they'll take questions from the floor also. But I'm sure that it's going to be Connor Kloya and Matt Cairns. It doesn't look like Matt Glazer's going to be there. So, save your complaints about the performance on the field.
Right.
This one will be more about club stuff, about the home games and, Bruce Stevens Field and the turf and, whatever else to talk about. So you'll see Ethan there if you go. A couple of Rally Madison notes. Rally Madison still adding players. They added Megan Murray, who's from Glenview, Illinois, plays for Marquette, and has a couple of caps for the Philippine national team.
Oh, there you go.
Which is cool. She's a forward. She actually helped them to their first ever international gold medal in the Southeast Asian Games last year, which is pretty cool.
There you go.
So she's a bit older, a bit more experienced than a lot of the other players, so it'll be interesting to see her on the field. Speaking of Rally Madison, I am very thrilled to let you know that starting next week, for some portions of the Rally Madison season, we're going to have a Sarah Stern join us as a Rally Madison women's soccer analyst, temporary co-host, whatever you want to say. Sarah is the assistant coach at Madison College. She is executive director of Regent Soccer Club, that's the main reason that you can't just hop on every week, because they're in the middle of their tryouts for next season, which is a very, very busy time for youth clubs. But she's generously agreed she's going to come to a few games. She's going to sit with us and talk, and bring that actual soccer experience and wisdom and intelligence to us to talk about Rally Madison and how they're doing on the field and what she sees from that club. She's also a Mingo in law. Did you know that? She's she played at UW Milwaukee, where she met fellow Panther Lori Bell.
Oh, okay.
Who is last year was sort of a player coach with the club and is now coaching the Academy U19.
Yeah.
So she's embedded. She's in it. Right? She's with us. So very excited to have Sarah. You'll hear from her a bit more next week. And then one last thing I mentioned last week when I was talking about expenses for that Sports Engine is something we have to subscribe to. I misunderstood that, and thanks to Aaron Anderson from Wisconsin Soccer Central for pointing this out to me, that actually to watch the game live is free. So if and we will, and I'm sure the club also, but we'll also share links on the away game days, where you can just click a link and watch the uh, the games. The league website also has those links, so you can watch the games live. However, I still got to pay for the subscription because just to get it to be able to rewatch and to watch highlights and stuff like that. It's not real expensive. It's like $10 a month. It's not a big deal, and we only have to subscribe for like 2 months, so it's fine. It's fine. But just so nobody feels like I mean, you can watch for free at home on Sports Engine, which is cool. Most people who are big fans are gonna they're going to be at the game. Oh, speaking of that too, just to mention, the supporter group has chosen its name. Did you see this? They're calling themselves the Rose Guard, which I think is pretty great. And they are building their own independent supporter group and own independent culture, which is very exciting. I've reached out to them and hoping to maybe have one of them on the show maybe next week or week after to kind of talk about home game culture and excitement there. And also, and finally, I'm going to have a Rally Madison season preview article up at Madison 365 next week, probably Monday. I'm actually going to catch the end of the training session on Wednesday and talk to some folks and write something up. So watch for that. All right, so let's turn the page and look at this game, which was not a particularly fun one. I don't know what are your impressions? What went wrong here?
I mean, the game was almost lost in the first 10 minutes, you know.
Yeah,
That first chance right after like 1 minute set the tone, and you never want to like assume that that's how a game is going to go. But then the penalty right away kind of
yep.
turned things for the worst. And yeah, after Alta scored their second goal, you didn't think, oh, this is over. But it seems like the players maybe did. So I don't
I
know.
will say they did seem a little deflated after conceding the first goal and then especially the second. And I think the game shaped up in a very specific way that we can talk about in a bit. That it doesn't excuse the performance, but it does. I think there's more to it than just we played bad. But back to the beginning. The lineup was back to sort of the more usual
Yep.
11,
Yep.
right? With we talked about last week. We had Derek Gebhardt in the midfield with Jackson Castro for the first half, and Claudel Ngubu up top, along with Carmichael and Anor Giamfi. It was back to the more typical Gebhard, Anor Giamfi, Carmichael in sort of the 9 and the dual 10s or whatever you want to say, and Roman Torres and Jackson Castro in the pivot, and then the normal backline and wings. And it seemed like, I don't know, it seemed like it was kind of slow out of the gate. But as you mentioned, we had a big chance in the second minute.
Yeah, it's too bad that
And
that turned out to be the best chance of the game for us.
right. But it was second week in a row that Ryan Carmichael was in on goal, 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, and couldn't finish it. And I mentioned in the newsletter, Denzel Smith is a very good goalkeeper, and he made a very good save on that. However, if you're, I know Carmichael doesn't play the 9 role, but he's got a number 9 on his back. And when you choose number 9 as your number, like that, you're kind of you're promising to score some goals, and if your job is to score goals and you're 4 feet from the goal and you can't put it in, like that's a problem, right?
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And just like you said, this was not his first week doing that. I really like what he does to link up play, and I like how he drops back, and I think
Mm-hmm.
he's good in the middle third. But yeah, he's got to do a little bit more for me in terms of finishing chances. Um, I think if that chance falls to Energy Amphi, he scores it, and it's a whole different game. But, you know,
100%,
that's
100%
soccer.
different game. Like, and well, you mentioned the middle third, and you have to kind of tip your cap to him that chance was actually created by him, by Carmichael. Takes a ball like way back at the sort of the back end of the central third from Derek Gebhardt, and just made a 50-yard run right up the middle. Like it was a nice direct thought. He saw grass in front of him and he took it. I
Yep.
think a lot of our guys are hesitant to carry for some reason. Like even with acres of space in front of him, they look for a pass first rather than just advance the ball. So I
Yep.
appreciate that he did that. That he took that opportunity. He saw some space and took it, and then he got it out to the wing to Kanyane. Kanyane puts a pretty nice ball into him, and it got kind of knocked around by some defenders and just fell kindly to him, and he kind of wasn't expecting it. Took a
Yeah.
second to get his feet sorted, and took a shot, but just didn't put enough on it. I think he sort of tried to, which in a way I understand. You don't want to shank it, you don't want to overdo it, whatever. So he just kind of tried to finesse it into the far post, and it was too slow. And Denzel Smith had time to react to it and get to it. But if he puts 2 or 3 feet under it, if he elevates it just a couple feet, it's in. And like I say, it's a completely different match.
Yeah.
Um, if it's 1-0 to us rather than 1-0 to them 5 minutes later, which which they got on a penalty, and it's again Gene Kenyane with the um I don't know, it's just going to become a pattern of a discipline pattern with him.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I last week I was ready to say that he was the best player on the team, but this is the second time now that he's had a really, really big mistake. I think it's cost us 5 points. I don't think that you can say this penalty right here was the one that cost us the game, but it certainly
No,
didn't help. Um, the challenge was kind of ridiculous. I mean, you can't go down in that situation there. It's not even really. I mean, it's a offensive chance for sure, but it's not necessarily a scoring chance. It's not like they were one pass away from a
right,
goal.
right. No, no, he did not. He did not directly prevent a goal with that challenge, and it was going. It was in the sort of the corner of the box, going toward the end line. You do want to try to contain it. You want to stand him up. Maybe if you want to do a sliding tackles, if you can get to the side of him and do it. But there was no reason to go to ground and try to at that particular moment. It also it's a this is a stupid thing, but like the fact that a foul that far from the goal costs us a goal is like it's a rule problem. People have stats nerds and math nerds have put together these like sort of not very serious proposals about changing the penalty area to be more like an arc or something to reflect how much of a chance you're actually stopping with the foul in the box. But that's the rule is if you foul somebody in the box, it's a penalty, and you basically get an 80% chance to score a goal that you were never going to score. And you feel good about JT Harms in that situation. He's a very good keeper.
Yep.
Went the wrong way, what do you do? And like I said, I didn't see the resilience that we saw the last couple of times we've gone behind.
Yeah, so
Eh,
we should probably talk about the second goal, but I think it's worth saying at this time this was exactly a situation that we found ourselves in. And I was texting with one of the other Mingos fans about, oh, this is just a reverse Cosmos. Like we, up two, but down a man. Now we're down two, but up a man. And I think the thing that the Cosmos did really well was they came out at halftime and scored right away. And yes, it helped that they scored their second right away too. But the Mingos did not come out at halftime looking like they were on
Mm-mm.
fire. But before that we tell that story, we do have to tell the story of the second goal, which was an on fire goal. That was just
Man.
kind of unstoppable, you know.
Yeah, it was just a real simple. They worked it across the top of the box, sort of, switched the point of attack, and Godwin Antwi just took a step, and again, it's getting Kenyane again that is squared up with him and did and kind of sat off of him, didn't step up to him,
Yep.
which you're trying to in that spot. You're trying to cut off passing lanes, trying to make sure he doesn't advance the ball into the box.
Yeah.
But that's also like telling him that you don't expect him to shoot, which is in a way kind of daring him to shoot, and he did.
Right.
And it was incredible. Like it was just a left-footed curler into the upper 90 that you could not have placed it any better. Nothing
Yeah.
JT Harms could do about it. It was just just a golazo, and at some point you got to, every once in a while you got to kind of tip your cap to those, um, and just pick it up and try to get it back, and we just didn't.
Right. That one really hurt too. Like we said, I think both of those goals were a little bit more of emotional damage than
Yep.
than just a 1 point on the scoreboard. Um, but yeah, it came from the left side. Guinea was standing off, but like, ugh, how do you stop that? That one felt like it was just kind of destined to go in the back of the net, you know?
Yeah. 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 You can't fault. It wasn't exactly like shambolic defending or anything like that. It was just a worldly strike that you just aren't going to stop. Uh,
Yeah.
which if that was the only goal they had, and we were able to score one or two,
Hmm.
would have been fine, right? I will say, just generally speaking, after the first 20 minutes, you felt like Alta, who hasn't won since like mid October last year, like the
Hmm.
last 10, I think they're 9 or 10 games they're winless.
Yeah.
Um, you felt like they've always been a little closer than that. Like they've never been a bad team. They just had a bad run of luck and form.
Right.
So you felt like they were feeling it, right? They're like, okay, we're back, you know,
Hmm.
and we were like, we've been traveling for the last 3 months, and we're sick of this, and um, this sucks, and we don't want to do this anymore. you know,
Yeah.
our guys just seemed really deflated.
Yeah, that's the problem with what an 8 game away stand. Um,
Yeah.
I was really excited after 7 games. You know, we really did really well, and I was kind of counting the 3 points before they had hatched, if you will.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, me too.
but looking back at this, I mean, I think we still did well on an 8 game away homestand, or I mean, an 8 game away stand. I don't know if you call it an away stand, but yeah, at
Road
this
trip.
point in the game, oh, they were just gassed, and I think they kind of ran out of the will. I think you're exactly right.
Yeah, yeah, the mentality was not there. Urgency is a word to use when you're coaching, and that I just didn't see any urgency there. And even after we went up a man, I mean, there was Michal Pajaro studs up right into the shins of Tarek Gebhardt, sends Gebhardt flying in the air, which is just a cynical, uncalled for, ridiculous challenge. Easy red card.
Yeah,
Pajaro didn't even really object.
I don't know what he was really thinking, and I mean, looking at that, you kind of fear for Derek's wife. You know, how do you react when you're looking at
Right?
that and you see your guy go just flying? And unfortunately, Derek has that big hair, so his hair goes flying too, and it looks really bad. Um,
Yeah,
p- Part of me thinks, oh, that looked worse than it was, but also, I mean,
yeah.
that is a really terrible challenge. That a
Well,
couple inches different, it's a leg breaker.
or a collarbone breaker. Like the way he flew up in the air and landed on his shoulder and kind of
Hmm.
and he like bounced off the ground, and like that could be an arm breaker. That could be like I said, a rib crack. I mean, could be a leg breaker. It could be that was uh, just uncalled for. It wasn't even. It was right in the middle of the park. There's no reason to
Yeah.
challenge that hard at that spot. It wasn't a goal scoring opportunity or anything like that. It was just a cynical challenge. And Geb gets a lot of that. He gets kicked and pushed and knocked down quite a bit. I don't know what it is about him that
Yeah, he used to be
causes
littler,
other
I
teams to
think,
do
and
that.
he used to be
I
littler, and I
guess.
think he's gained a little bit of size. I mean, he's gained a little bit of stature amongst the league too, as well. But it's
Sure.
just yeah, uncalled for, as like you said. That was kind of ridiculous, and like you said, he didn't even really protest. He just kind of gave away the armband and walked
hmm
off.
That was right before halftime, and so Alta had the break to kind of reconfigure and adjust. And in a weird way, I feel like that red card actually helped Alta
Okay,
because um, if you're up 2-0, full strength on both sides, you're not necessarily parking the bus right out of the break.
right, especially at home.
Up right, right. There would be no reason for them not to go for a third goal. However, up 2-0, down a man, what else can you do but park the bus? And that's
Hmm.
exactly what they did. They just put 9 guys in the box. They no longer attempted to move forward at all. We had 77% of the percentage of the possession in the second half.
Hmm.
We had what was it? Like we had like 4 shots in the first half and like 24, no, 17 in the second half. Um, We had 4 touches in the opposition box in the first half, 24 in the second. Like they just like sat back and we could not do anything with it because we don't have we don't have the guys who are going to be able to break down a parked bus or
Mhm.
score from range. Like that
Yeah.
Godwin Antwi goal, we haven't seen anybody on our current squad that's able or willing to score that goal.
Yeah.
From a curler from outside the box. We just haven't seen it yet. Maybe it's there and we just haven't seen it. So the only hope we had in the second half was to get a corner, and we've become good at scoring on corners, I guess.
Mhm.
but that didn't never materialized.
Yeah, and I felt like the service on the corners even wasn't right today. I think what was it,
Mm,
2 or
mm-hmm,
3 weeks ago that we scored the Olympico kicking it in directly off the corner?
mm-hmm.
I felt like
Yep.
a couple of times in this game they were actually going for that, like they were taking shots off the corner, which is so crazy. Like that's always a goal that goes in accidentally, or you're trying to pressure
Or
the
just
goalkeeper by bringing the guys in. But
or it catches the wind,
yeah,
which is
right,
what happened
um,
in Kanyane's Olympico. Yeah.
right. But the, today I just thought that they like the service was just way too close to the keeper and didn't even really give our big guys a chance, which is too bad because I mean if we're
Mm-hmm.
scoring 11 on 11 off corners, shouldn't you be scoring just as effectively 11 on 10? But I guess not,
Right.
especially with
Right.
their giant center back out. He was one of their best defenders aerially. So,
Oh, right.
yeah,
That's true. But now the whole league knows that they can just park the bus on us. If they can get a 1 goal early and park the bus for the rest of the game, like we don't have
right.
anybody that's going to break it down, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Yeah, I think in different games we'll see guys step up. I'm hoping if this happens at home, they're a little bit more energized by the flock. I'm hoping if this happens away, that they'll at least have had this experience and know that, you
Hmm.
can't go through them. You have to either go over or around. Um, and
Yeah.
I'm also hoping that
The
Aaron
other thing
Edwards
that,
comes back. Go ahead.
yes, yes, and Mark Segbergs. I heard it sounds like Mark Segbergs might be back soon.
Okay.
And we hope Aaron Edwards is also. Um, the uh, the other thing that bothered me in this one, and it sounds like a really dumb, amateur, very basic thing, and some smart soccer people might get irritated with me. But when you're coaching little kids, one of the first things you teach them is how to receive a pass, right? To settle before you kick it,
Hmm.
to have a soft foot, to receive a pass without it bouncing everywhere. Okay, then the next thing you teach them the next year is to receive a pass while turning, so that you can continue to advance the ball. So
Hmm.
it's not just back and forth, but it's you receive the pass on the half turn and to continue to carry the ball forward and to advance the ball up the field. For some reason, and I can't quantify this, but it seemed like in this match particularly, none of our guys were willing to turn while receiving a pass, which is just, it feels so basic to me.
Right.
Um, and but this is also a tactical thing that some managers actually decide to do, right?
Right.
Um, so it felt like every time somebody would get a pass forward with their back to the goal, it would stop the ball and then either pass it backward again. So we're going
Hmm.
like 2 steps up and 1 step back, or laterally, which I guess is not bad. But it just didn't feel like there was any momentum rolling forward, which is why we never score goals in transition. Like
Right.
we've got this thing where we're sitting back and absorbing pressure and conceding possession, and usually that's followed by and then scoring on the counter. But we don't counter. We can't
Yeah.
counter. We don't we don't have the horses or the tactical I don't know, whatever it is to be able to advance the ball forward quickly. When we do, in the second minute, we saw Ryan Carmichael advance the ball quickly and created a wonderful scoring chance for himself, which then he didn't convert. But like more of that would be nice, more forward thinking, and that's what we were promised in the offseason. Matt
Hmm.
Cairns promised us more excitement, more forward motion, more goals, and it just hasn't materialized yet. And we can only say team cohesion for so much longer, and
Right.
we can say travel. Everybody's tired from travel, and it's 11:30 at night, whatever 9:30 at night for us. So jet lag or whatever, but like that doesn't. They're going to be home for an extended period, and we'll talk about that in a second here pretty
Yep.
soon. So they better eat at home because like you don't have the travel excuse anymore.
Right,
So
right, and
maybe
these
see
guys
some goals,
have
guys.
some of them have never even been home, living in team housing, they've been there for, like, 6 weeks, you're traveling on the road for
Yeah,
preseason, you're traveling on the road for the
right.
regular season. So yes, I am really looking forward to having them back. But yeah, there's a myriad of different excuses. I would say not to be an apologist, but the biggest deal about this game is Alta looked like a team that hadn't won in their past 10. And then they finally got an inch of space and said, all right, today's the day. We're taking this one. And we look like a team
Yep.
who's been on the road for 2 or 3 months and has had some good success and was like, oh, all right, maybe we just don't have it in us today. So hopefully they're
Yeah.
saving it for the massive and huge Prinks Tires Cup tie against Detroit City. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, yeah, that's coming up this weekend. Now Friday there is a friendly. The Raleigh Madison are playing Chicago House, so that's going to be our first look at the women's team. And then Saturday night at it's an early start, 5 p.m. Is Detroit City. Very few seats left for this one, which is good. I was wondering if people would be interested in a cup match, and apparently they are. So it's going to be a big packed house. It's going to be rocking. Detroit City are good but not great. I think this year, at least so far in the championship, they have 13 points from 8 matches
Hmm.
in the USL Championship, which puts them in third in the Eastern Conference. So they're sitting well in the league table. They have 4 wins, 1 draw, 3 losses. And the formula typically for a cup set is you defend well, you get a little bit of luck, and then you nick one on a set piece. Which defending well and scoring on set pieces, Madison has proven that they can do.
Yes,
They
that's in
didn't
our
this
bag.
they didn't particularly this past game, but in up till the Alta game, that's been our thing. So maybe we can get a result here, and especially if we've got the flock on point and everybody rowdy and hollering um I frankly hope Detroit brings some fans because that would be fun. This is
Yeah, I for
it's
sure
one
heard
of
of one
the
person coming.
Oh, really good, cool. And it's a good club. It's a good franchise. It's they're one of those that went from League Two, built a huge following in League Two, and then made the jump to the championship. So I don't know. I'm pretty excited for this one. But being home for this game doesn't necessarily end the road trip quite yet, because we do have Corpus Christi
Hmm.
on the 29th, but in between on May 23rd, the women are home
That's
at
right.
5 o'clock. And the men are away at Charlotte at 6 o'clock. So there will be an overlap. So maybe you can come to the women's game, which, by the way, the women's game I think, has more tickets sold than the Detroit City men's game. I
Really?
mean, there are very, very few. Like the central sections, like 108, 109, completely gone. There's no tickets available.
Okay, awesome.
And like the covered corner only has a few, and like 113 and like 102 both have a few, but it's going to be a big crowd for that women's game, which is very exciting. But then after the women's game, you can go into the Forward Club and watch the second half of the men's game,
You
which could
got
be
it.
pretty cool, I think. And then the men are home versus Corpus Christi on Friday the 29th. And then they're away at Greenville that Wednesday, the June 3rd, and then away at Indy for the cup in the third round of the cup
Hmm.
on the next Saturday the 6th. And then after that, it's 3 straight home games in 8 days. So that's
Yes,
June 13th is Boise, Wednesday the 17th versus Fort Wayne, Saturday the 20th versus Cosmos. That's when we have to start racking up points. We better start seeing convincing wins.
yep.
Although, man, Boise's so good, though.
Yeah,
That's going to
well,
be a
if you
tough
want to
one.
be the best, you got to beat the best.
Well, and we beat the best so far, right? We beat Naples, we beat Knoxville. Like, we've proven we can do that. So, um, and then the rest of the summer is mostly home games, which is great.
Yep.
So, um, I wanted to real quick mention a Reddit thread if we have a minute.
Yeah.
That somebody people fans Reddit people complaining shock. Um, but one of the comments on this thread that after the game, which is basically the thread was basically like, are we really bad? Are we not a good team? Because that's the feeling you get after a loss, right? But one of
Yep.
the comments I wanted to address was somebody said something about the rest of the league catching up to us and that we were the coolest team in the league in 2019, 2020, 2021, where we were getting the biggest crowds because everybody
Hmm.
else was they were like USL JV or MLS JV teams and like Tormenta, which would draw like
Yep.
1,000 fans. And we always had the coolest vibe and the coolest social media and the coolest kits and everything. And everybody, and now you got Boise drawing 6,000, you got Portland selling out every time. And for me, the fact that the rest of the league has caught up from that side of it, from the fan perspective, from the community perspective, I think is great. I don't mind no longer being the only team drawing more than 4,000 people a game. Like,
Yeah,
as much as
right.
that was a point of pride, like, it's better for the league if every stadium is sold out every time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and for a while,
And
Breeze
also
was
that has nothing to do with.
good.
I was going to say that just has nothing to do with on the field performance. You know what I
Right,
mean? That's not what's making us lose. That Boise sells
right.
out. You know?
Yeah, no kidding. And like for a while, Breeze was by far the coolest stadium in the league, and now, they've built 2 or 3 big real estate projects, and it looks like, Fort Wayne looks
Yeah.
like it's a lot of fun. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Spokane looks like it's a lot of fun. And so, yeah, I think it just makes the away days better. But I also think those teams coming in, even Portland, looks like it's a lot of fun. But those teams coming in still have work to do in terms of, congratulations, you sold a lot of tickets to a brand new club. Yeah, that's not the hardest part. Um, but
Yeah.
it's, do you have staying power in year 2, or are you still serious in year 3? Keeping your eyes on Spokane and
Or
Portland to see if they've still got their momentum is pretty interesting, because here we are in year 8,
well,
still going strong.
yeah, yeah, and or if you're New York Cosmos, can you keep it going to week 2? Not even
Right,
year 2. Like
right.
Cosmos sold, as we talked with those guys from Cosmos Country, that they sold like 4,000 tickets for the first match and like less than 1,000 for the second.
Uh-huh.
So it's rough. So anyway, it is rough out there, and it is good to see other teams. But like you say, you got to keep it up. You got to keep the momentum going. You got to not let the novelty wear off. So,
Right.
all right. So I think that's enough on this match. Um, watch for. I'm going a little bit later today as we record this on Wednesday. I'm going down to visit the Rally Madison training session this afternoon and talk to a couple players and Giuliano, the head coach, and I'm gonna have a season preview for that on Monday at Madison365.org. So watch for that. We're gonna take a short pause. When we come back, Patrick Nyarko will be here. And joining us now, forward Madison assistant head coach Patrick Nyarko. How you doing, sir?
Doing good, doing good. Yeah, try to make sure this wind doesn't blow me off. But yeah, it's a little cold than I expected it to be this morning. But yeah, all good.
Oh, good. It's been weirdly chilly all spring, but it sounds like first home match is going to be a nice day this weekend. We hope. Now we talked to you about a year ago, I think, maybe a little more than a year ago, when you first joined the club as coaching the academy. You were elevated or hired on as assistant head coach. How's it going? How are you settling into your new role as the with the first team?
It's good. I mean, it's great organization, and the setup, makes it so that, in the new entries, you just slide in, you get comfortable. Like there's a lot of help along the way. It's a lot of warm, wonderful people, to help you get settled in. So I didn't take much at all, and business as usual each day,
Yeah.
and it's been awesome.
How is it? You step into this role with a group of guys that have really not played together before, right? You've got this whole big roster turnover. You got a different kind of player than we've been used to, a younger, maybe just physically larger. How did you have any role in like trying to get all these new guys to get to know each other and play together, or like how's that working from the coaching perspective?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's football, right? Like football is it's just football. Like it's just a language, just one language, right? Like so, as long as you get guys that are enthusiastic, they're willing to work, willing to improve, again, willing to reward the city, the organization for their opportunities that they have, and also looking to improve and whatever it is, move to the next level, go to improve their game. It makes it a lot easier to bring a new group together. Again, it makes it a lot easier. It's never easy, right? Even at the highest level, sometimes it's
Yeah,
but it does make it a lot easier compared to what it could be, right? With
yeah.
if you didn't have those guys with that enthusiasm and then the willingness to learn and work hard. So again, we're blessed with a very good group, and again, we will continue to come together as the season goes on.
Yeah. I don't think it's an accident that we have a very good group this year. I think Matt Cairns put in a lot of work to get a very good group. Um, were you guys doing a lot of collaborating with him and saying, you got to get me, a really fast winger, or you got to get me a really tall defender? Or was it kind of trusting him a lot to know the best 25 guys to bring in for forward?
I think Matt is very experienced, right? Like he is very, very experienced. He know the game very, very well. Him and Matt, I mean Matt and Matt, in the organization before I even came on, had started this project with ball rolling already, and so yeah, I just kind of came in a little later, and most of the guys that they had signed are already on there. They did a really good job calibrating on that, and so yeah, they had an idea, and obviously I had to come in and understand what the direction the organization is going into, and again, if with the right perspective, with the right um, project, again, it wasn't hard to understand and seemingly just slot in the ideas that they have, and I share the same ideas, and that made it easier for me to kind of like fit into the process, right? And Matt Cairns does a great job of involving everybody on the staff, in terms of what he's thinking and all of that, and obviously, ultimately, Matt and Matt have the final say on obviously player signings and all of that stuff, but they do a great job of including all of us.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You mentioned the player profile on this club right now is guys that are younger, who maybe have a year or two of a professional experience under their belt, but a lot of them are on an upward trajectory. They're trying to get to the next level. They're trying to get to championship, MLS, Europe, whatever. Then you've got that experience, right? What do you bring from your like 10 seasons in MLS that you're imparting to these young guys? What's the advice you're giving them? What are you trying to bring from your experience to teach these young guys?
I mean, the most important thing is consistency, right? Consistency
Mm,
at the highest level, which again, these seasons are long, right? 10, 11-month seasons, right? And you need to make sure you're bringing it every day, right? The one thing I said or I was told when I started playing at a young age is it's not easy, right? It's not easy to play at that level, and sometimes you have your best week training, and you might not even play, right? But that doesn't mean you go away. That doesn't mean you fall down the drain, right? That needs to encourage you or to work harder, right? To get in the next squad and the next squad, right? It might not happen for 2 weeks. It might not happen for 3 weeks. It might happen in the fourth week, but you have to keep that consistency going, even if it's not going your way, right? So I think the most important thing is keeping that consistency. Again, willingness to improve, working extra, working harder to improve your game, and just stay ready whenever the coach needs you, right? Because again, at the highest level, there's so many games. Sometimes you play, sometimes you don't, but you just need to make sure you're ready when you're called upon. Because again, there's so much responsibility at this level on people that you are responsible for, right? First of all, again, yourself, right? Again, like you talked about, right? Where do I want to go in 2 years? Where do I want to go in 4 years? Do I want to go at a higher level, right? Again, you got to serve that. You got to serve the fans. I mean, the fans to me are so important as a professional athlete. In the sense that again, they are there to be entertained, and you have to do whatever possible, um, whatever in your power to entertain them, and that means getting better, technically, physically, and you owe it to a lot of people, not just yourself, when you're playing at that level. So
Mm.
that's the most important thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you about consistency. Consistency is something that this team has struggled for so far this year, but when they're playing well, I think one thing we do consistently is corner kicks. The thing I'm dying to ask is who on the staff is drawing up these set pieces, Patrick? Is that you? Is that Matt?
But I think it's a collective effort. I mean, Matt, again, I said Matt is a top coach, and he comes up with most of the ideas. And again, he opens it up for all of us to give our opinions and stuff like that, and work at it. But he is very, very smart in how he sees the game, especially tactically, yeah, in open play and on set pieces, right? And he carves out the opponent's structure and see how best we can affect them. And again, that comes down to the word that we talked about, consistency, right?
Mhm.
Consistency of the serve, consistency and the desire of the runners to get into their spot, is so prevalent in how successful we are being so far, and hopefully it can continue.
Yeah, I agree.
We've had in past seasons we've had trouble scoring. Like we've been able to grind out those 1-0 wins, and this season it hasn't exactly been a waterfall of goals. So we've got the set pieces coming, but the open play goals have been difficult to come by. What are you guys working on? Is there anything specific, tweaks or anything specific that has to get better to make that happen, or is it just we got to be patient?
I think, yeah, I think patience. Again, it's been a very, very tough start to the year, schedule
Yeah,
wise, for
yeah.
us. And so again, we have to be able to get that grace. um for our boys, they are working ever so hard, right, to be able to create more chances in open play and score. But the level of travel, the level of away games, I keep saying, if yeah, I don't know how many teams would survive and be in the spot that we are right now if they were given our schedule, and our travel schedule.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
boys have been fantastic about that. And again, it's little by little, right? We again, that set piece, and the consistency of that set piece right now. And then once it clicks in open play, I think it would be really good. We're working hard, every day. The guys need to believe in themselves, because they are very, very good players. We got a great group. We got a great set of football players, and they just need to believe in themselves more, because we see them happen. We see them happen in training, a lot, and it's just carrying it into the games. And I know once that
Mhm.
starts clicking, it will be really good.
Yeah. How, how are you working on this? So the stereotype, the beat on this team is that they're pretty young. It sounds like they're hungry, but they've got a lot of inexperience. And I think something that comes with inexperience is not the best mentality, not the best poise. How are you working with these guys to improve the mental part of their game?
I was just putting in the work. I obviously got to cover all aspects, not just on the training field, on the training field, right? Like, the watching videos, watching yourself, watching games back, watching movements, right? Just talking through stuff like with the experienced staff that we have. Matt has been doing this for a long time. I've played for a long time. So my coaching career is a little early in my coaching career right now, but just I have a little bit of experience that I can bring, right? And
Hmm.
so visually, just seeing ourselves, right? Like I say, to all the boys, like seeing
Mhm.
ourselves on video, execute or not execute, right? It's a very great teaching moment that we can go through, right? So we can talk about everything on the field, training wise, but not if you're not seeing it or understanding why it went wrong and the moment that it did in the game or in video, right? It's hard to improve on that. So just mixing and marrying all of that together, um,
Mhm.
again will give us the composure that we need in the run of play to execute, right? And again, I probably you guys probably gonna hate me for this, but I'm gonna keep repeating it. Their travel schedule has been brutal, and they have done a fantastic job of handling that. Once we settle down a little bit, where it becomes a bit more uniform and consistent, where we're traveling, but we also staying at home and keeping that balance that other teams are getting. I think we will start clicking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will concur on the travel point, and not having traveled with the team. But think, folks, about what tiring is. You fly to Chicago to Los Angeles and you're tired, right? Now imagine going from Madison to Chicago to Lancaster, California, these little regional airports, which takes hours and hours and hours, and then you got to play a professional soccer game the next day. Like, there's a little slack that can be cut here.
It's
Um,
challenging. It's challenging for
yeah,
sure. But again, we try not to give that excuse. And like I
no,
will
sure.
front that for the boys. They will never do that because of the
Mm-mm.
character that we have on the team, right? But I will front that and put a front to that and say it on their behalf because yeah, it's brutal. But again, that's the challenge we are taking on.
And that's the nature of this league, and that's one reason you want to move up is you get bigger airports at the higher levels.
Yeah.
um,
Fair.
you talked about belief in themselves, and there's a result like this past weekend where you fly all the way out to California, you kind of get a goose egg and you lose, you got to come home now. How does that impact that belief in a meaningful way, or how do you make sure that it doesn't?
It's just the concept of the next play, the concept of the next play of moving on as quickly as possible, right? Again, I think so far, like like when we've had a bad result or a not so great result or a result that we expect to do better, I think we bounced back a little stronger, and that's what we expect here. Again, like the one thing about a young group is sometimes they just forget about things really quickly, which we kind of need in these situations, right? They
Yeah.
move on to the next game, the next weeks in training. Again, training today was awesome. Like the energy from all that travel, right? It was awesome, and it just showed me or told me that we're ready for this weekend, and we're ready to
Good.
treat the fans of Madison at the home opener very well, right? So we're very excited about that.
Good. Good. Yeah, I'm excited to have you guys back. Um, who are some of the guys who have stepped up and become leaders? Like, I'm sure you're going to say Gebhardt. I'm sure you're going to say Segbers, the guys who have been around. But who are some guys who have really stepped up and been vocally leaders in the group?
Yeah, I mean, again, what's like with everybody being, or around, in and around the same age, right? Like it's taking the community, right? It's a communal thing, right? Everybody safeguarding or safekeeping, everybody, like, we are all on this together. But like you mentioned, like, the Derricks and the Segbers, somebody like Kevin Carmichael,
Okay.
g- they do a good job of keeping the group loose, keeping the group together. And again, it's a collective thing. Like, everybody has this role. I think in the group, like, JT Harms is another one that does a great job of keeping everybody together. But I cannot say enough about that good of a group that we have, where everybody safeguards, everybody respects each other, look after
Good.
each other, look behind each other, and have each other's backs, right? So yeah, so far so good.
Good. Awesome. Good to hear.
Um, how excited are the guys to be back to be playing in front of the flock and at Breeze Stevens Field this weekend?
I mean, I I think, first of all, not having to grab their travel luggage and pack again. I think it's a great start. I mean,
I can
because it's
play soccer
become.
without a suitcase. That's great.
Absolutely, yeah. It's become kind of like a routine. You get back, you go through the week, it just goes by fast, and then you're on the bus or you're on the flight again, right? So, I think I'm not even sure if they'll realize, like, on Friday they'll probably go pick up their suitcase and realize, oh, we don't have to go anywhere um, this week. So, no, that'll be really good. Again, I think most of them have had a fantastic experience with, meeting fans, right, at events and all of that
Hmm.
stuff, and well wishes and all of that. And I think they are itching to play in front um of the Madison faithful, with the atmosphere that we expect, nice weather. Although it's against, a tough Detroit opposition, we're very confident that we can show up and give a good performance, and hopefully a
Hmm.
good result, to reward the fans, and start on a great home journey,
Hmm.
for this season.
Yeah. Good. Good. I'm excited. I can't wait to have you guys back. I can't wait to see what happens.
So you've been in town for a little more than a year or so. What? How are you settling into Madison? What do you like to do? Any place you like to eat? Stuff like that
That's
in
good.
Madison?
I mean, I've not ventured out a lot, to be fair, right? But it's not a negative, but like the past couple winters have just dragged on for so long. Like, I'm like, I thought spring was spring. You get some consistent, sunny days, warmer days, but then you get a warmer day, and then you get three, chilly
And then,
days. It's kind of it's yeah, it's kind of played on my mind a little bit, but no,
yeah.
I love the city. The city is fantastic. But yeah, no, I've not really ventured, restaurant wise, but I have picked up from a few spots.
Yeah.
But yeah, just looking at this summer to be able to do that a little bit more.
Excellent.
Gotcha. Hey, what's it like working with Glazer? Is he funny? Does he have any jokes behind the scenes, or is he as serious as we think he is?
Yeah. No, he is as intense as you probably see him. He is just as funny.
Good.
Um, yeah, and the background. Again, I've been really lucky, so far in my young career, to work with some fantastic coaches, and Matt is right up there. It's his understanding of the game, and just a general knowledge of the players that he has and how he can adapt a system to fit them, and to try to create an environment for them to be successful is unbelievable. I'm learning a lot. And yeah, it's been a pleasure to work with him.
Great. Oh, and actually, before I let you get out of here, we've got one guy who kind of goes both ways that you might have some experience with.
Mm.
Kevin Flores, the goalkeeper. Have you been keeping up with
Mhm.
Kevin and his progress to the first team this year?
Yeah, so I tried to, obviously it's unfortunate because I never got to have Kevin play with me in a game when I was with the academy.
Okay.
Yeah, just because, I think he was in between, first team and stuff. So his registration wasn't there for the camp, so he didn't play a game, but he was always at training. His work ethic is unbelievable. Very young, but willingness to improve, willingness to get better. And, there's not a better environment for him than where he is right now. And again, you can see the enthusiasm. Obviously, he's young and he makes mistakes just like everybody else, right? But
Yeah.
he looks to correct it. He looks to correct it. Um, he looks to ask the questions that he needs, right? And luckily, he played most of the academy games. Since I left, which is great. They were able to
Good.
register. He played most games, which at this age you need to, right? You need to
Yeah.
play. And I always try to catch up with him after the weekend's game and ask how it went and how he did and all of that stuff, right? So I think
Yeah.
he can only improve and get better. We put them in a lot of challenging situations with our goalkeepers.
Hmm.
And again, that's the learning process and procedure that he needs. And again,
Yeah.
fantastic kid and fantastic attitude, and I think you'll only serve him well.
Good. Is there anybody else who's like right on the border of the academy of, moving up to the first team? Any other names? I don't watch a whole lot of the academy. So,
Mhm. Yeah, no, I mean, there's a few that could, and especially so far this year, we've had a bunch of them come in and out in terms of training.
okay.
So again, Matt has opened up the door for that collaboration between the academy and the first team, and so we've had a bunch of the 19s, which who obviously are the closest step to the first team
Hmm.
come through, and they coordinate that with how they are performing at the academy level. So we reach out. Um, and that's the coaches and the academy director who is doing well and who can come into practice and not mess up the practice, right, and not slow down the practice, but just fit in and do a job. And it's been fantastic to see the revolving door, right, because we've had approximately maybe half the players come join us at a training at different
Okay.
times, which suggests that they keep doing well, right? They keep doing well. With the same at that young age, consistency is what you are striving for, right?
Hmm.
Yep.
Um, so if they do well on during 1 week, and they come with us, right? You expect them to keep it up, keep doing well each week. You keep doing well, so they build that consistency. But it's nice to see. Obviously, they are not quite there. Ready to fit in the first team. Joe Joe Hildal is the only one that has been with us all year consistently. The center back, he's been with us consistently, and again, same thing. Like, I think he's one of the better players in the 19s, but he has a lot to learn, right? And being in the environment each day pushes him to be that, right? He makes mistakes. That's what we need to do to correct it, to accelerate that development. So again, kudos to Matt for opening that gate and try to bridge that gap between the academy and the first team.
That's great.
You got
I
it.
mean, what an opportunity that has never existed in Madison before for a kid
Yeah,
like that
it's
who's
huge.
ready to take the and not quite ready to like sign up for a contract, but ready to take the next step toward it and to have it there. That's um, and it's really fantastic that it's come to fruition so quickly. Like the second year of the academy, like we've already got these guys that are training now with the first team, which is that's outstanding. All right, Patrick Nyarko, thank you so much for the time, and we are very, very much looking forward to seeing you on Saturday in the technical area and seeing the boys on the pitch. with all of our friends. All right, we're going to take a pause. We'll come back. We'll go around the league. All right, let's go around the league real quick. The league started on Wednesday with Charlotte at Boise. What do you got?
Yep. So Charlotte beat Boise 1-0 to snap their 4-game unbeaten streak in League One play with a goal from Luis Alvarez in the 81st minute. It was a beautiful little tiki-taka goal finished by a headed assist from Swabio Maru to Alvarez, who also headed the goal in himself. That was the winner. Alvarez redeemed himself after having a penalty kick saved earlier in the game. Jake Kroll's Boise fall to 6th place, while Charlotte passes them and forward moves into 5th place.
And also Wednesday, Fort Wayne beat Portland 3-0. Nothing going on in the first half, but Fort Wayne came on strong in the second. Broke through in the 53rd minute with Lilian Ricol from his own side of the center stripe, swings it wide to Jaden Smith, makes a long run all the way into the box. Smith carried it forward, got it back to Ricol, and he finished on a screamer from the right channel. And 10 minutes later, it was again Ricol out of nothing. Burn Shipman, the keeper for Fort Wayne, just put a ball in play, just a long forward ball, and it made it all the way to the top of the Portland box, right over Ricol's shoulder. He took it and hit it first time with his left and just kind of tucked it into inside the post. And Tag Healy finished it off with what has to be a pretty solid favorite for goal of the week. He had Portland defender Diego Barbosa draped all over him. He fell down. He got up. He got a half yard of separation, hammered a left-footed shot in to the upper 90 from the top of the box. And that gives Fort Wayne their first ever USL League One home win.
Yes, good for them. In the following match that was started the Saturday matches, Chattanooga put 4 past Sarasota, including a Matt Bentley hat trick for a 4-1 victory in Chattanooga. Bentley's first goal was probably the best of the bunch. It was a backheel flick at the near post that crossed the keeper and nestled all the way far into the back post. Sarasota equalized through Matt Sense, but from there it was all Red Wolves. In typical Red Wolves fashion, they had just 34% possession, but had 8 of their 10 shots on target in the win. Both teams now have 7 points.
And in Greenville, the Kickers come to town, get a 3-0 victory. They opened the scoring at the half-hour mark with another goal of the week contender. Richmond forced a turnover on the high press and got a ball to Muji Murana, who has a go from about 35 yards, and it just kind of knuckled and bends its way away from Greenville keeper Amal Knight and in on one bounce. Amal Knight really should have done better with it, but it ends up being just a golazo. Richmond then opened it up in the second half, again on the high press, forcing a turnover, and Tarek Panholzer just dribbled for the right wing right at Amal Knight, chipped it for the second goal, and then Landon Johnson finished it off with a cutback from Owen O'Malley, finishing it one time on his left.
Yeah, good for Richmond. The Kickers fans that I know were pretty excited about this one. I don't think they're very fond of Greenville. Can't imagine why.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Fort Wayne is also on a hot streak, as Rob just said. They won on Wednesday. They completed the weekend on a 4-game unbeaten streak after a 1-0 over Westchester. Burn Shipman kept the clean sheet, and Fort Wayne is up to 11 points now, while Westchester is in kind of that group of 5 near the bottom of League One. There's 5 teams with 7 points. Tag Healy scored for Fort Wayne. It was the match's only goal, off a shot from about 12 yards out. Fort Wayne went around the right side of the Westchester defense, and Lillian Ricol dummied the cross, leaving it for Healy to stick top bins in the 34th minute. There's plenty of game left, but neither goalkeeper flinched, and it finished 1-0.
And in Omaha, Union Omaha and Portland played to a 2-2 draw. Omaha really dominated this match, but still had to come from behind to steal a point at the death. Portland got on the board first. Tyler Huck rips one from the top of the box off the underside of the crossbar in just the 7th minute. The Owls had plenty of chances the rest of the first half, but Portland's defending was strong, kept the clean sheet until Titus Washington added to the Portland lead in first half stoppage time. He just carried to the top of the box, right at defender Brent Coleman, sent a rocket across the upper corner, and despite having just 27% of possession and only two shots, They both went in. Portland goes into the break up 2-0. But if you are holding 75% of the ball and getting lots of pressure, you're going to break through eventually. That's exactly what Omaha did. On the hour mark, deflection fell kindly to Tepes Tequila, and he shoots from a tight angle. Portland goalkeeper Hunter Morse did get a hand on it, but it trickled through, get the Owls on the board. Then 4 minutes into stoppage time, a looping ball comes in. Pato Batella-Faz heads it back across. Samuel Owusu just steps between a couple of Portland defenders, tap it in, and they steal a point at home.
I heard that Portland should feel lucky to get a point, despite the fact that they were up 2. They did not play their best game.
And Omaha was really, really good. It just couldn't punch it in.
Yeah. Finally, Charlotte won 3-1 over Corpus Christi to keep the Sharks at the bottom of the table. A couple of former Mingos on bad behavior, with Cheney picking up a yellow card and Jackson Dietrich getting, well, I guess you could say sent off, shown a red card, leaving Corpus Christi with just 10 Sharks in the 70th minute. You know what? Actually, I don't know if that's true, because what ended up happening was Enzo Martinez opened the scoring for Charlotte in the 15th minute off a shot from the 5-yard line, which would probably be just inside the box. They have football yard lines, so it's easy to tell exactly how far you are out.
Right.
Patrick Langlois equalized for the Sharks. Cheney won the header off a corner kick, and Langlois applied the finishing touch to even the score. Jefferson Amaya broke the deadlock with a goal that you may have already seen on socials already, a shot from the 40-yard line, and the goal's at the back of the end zone, so it was really a 50-yard shot after the Corpus Christi goalkeeper came off his line to make a save, but couldn't clear the ball far away and get back in time. The Jacks iced the game with a penalty in the 72nd minute that Dietrich Red was shown to him at the substitutes bench. So what I was saying is they were down to 10 men. I don't know if that was true, because they gave Dietrich the red card as he was on the bench. So actually, I assume they didn't lose a man. I assume they remained 11 on 11. But it's kind of goofy because they gave the penalty, and just a really loud FU was heard. And I obviously, on the broadcast, you can't tell who it is, but the ref must have figured that it was Dietrich, came over there and gave him a red on the bench. He played the game, but was subbed off earlier, so he was on the bench.
Yeah, it looks like he came off at halftime and then got sent off in the 70th. That's interesting. I don't know. Do you I guess you don't go down, man.
Yeah, so there was 11
anyway.
Sharks on the field. It is a frustrating start for them. They have not won yet this year, which does make me a little bit nervous because, as we said, we're not playing them next week, but we're playing them the week after next. And apparently it's a Mingos thing to hand clubs their first win of all time. So,
well, remember, Texoma got their first ever point against us. It ended up being a draw but we had to score like in the 90th minute to get that draw against the team that hadn't won yet.
Yes.
And the last game of the weekend was on Sunday. Spokane beat Naples 2-1 in Spokane. They took control in the 8th minute with Megi Alexandre squaring up against Mark Torres in the box, and he caught Torres leading just a little bit, took a touch to create a little space, and ripped a shot from very near the end line, tucking it inside the far post. Despite a ton of chances to double the lead, it stayed 1-0 until the 54th. Anwar Pelaez gets a nice through ball in behind. Naples keeper Lalo Delgado came off his line and took Pelaez's legs out from under him, earning a penalty, which Pelaez himself pretty easily dispatched. Naples did get a consolation goal deep into stoppage time. A long throw came in, cleared out, but only to the top of the penalty arc. Luca Mastrantonio took it on a half volley. Incredible goal for him, but that's all they would get, and Spokane took all 3 points. Looking ahead to this week, on Wednesday night, there's 2 league matches, Knoxville hosting Omaha, Boise hosting Naples, and then there's another league match on Saturday, Sarasota Paradise taking on AV Alta. And then in the Cup, Wednesday night, there's a Cup match, Sarasota Paradise hosting Sporting Jacksonville, which is off to just a terrible start. They're not a good team in the championship. And then on Friday, it's New York Cosmos going to Westchester, and Pittsburgh Riverhounds going to Charlotte. And on Saturday, Portland Hearts of Pine host Rhode Island. We host Detroit City. Richmond Kickers hosting Charlotte Charleston Battery, renewing one of the oldest rivalries in soccer. They both started the same year in like 1993 or whatever. So that's a long-standing rivalry, that's exciting. Brooklyn FC hosts Hartford Athletic. Chattanooga Red Wolves hosting Birmingham Legion. San Antonio FC going to Knoxville. Tampa Bay Rowdies against Miami FC. Indy 11 going to Fort Wayne. Oakland Roots hosting Sac Republic. Fort Wayne Indy will be a good one. Corpus Christi hosting NFC Tulsa. Monterey Bay goes to Boise. New Mexico United goes to Colorado Springs. Orange County goes to Phoenix. And then on Sunday, Sporting Jacksonville goes to Naples. Lou City against Omaha. That will be a fun one to watch. And Las Vegas Lights go to Spokane.
Although Lou City is pretty bad this year, right? They're the champions, but I think they're pretty low.
They're off to a slow start, but I still think that'll be that's a sort of a natural regional rivalry kind of situation. And no matter how well they're doing this year, any League One team that could knock off Lou City, I mean, that would be pretty great.
Yeah, I agree.
Not that we're going to be rooting for Omaha in any circumstance, but it'll be a fun one to watch anyway.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Next time we see you, we'll be at Breese Stevens Field on Saturday night. And we are pretty excited about it.
Can't wait.
All right. Up the goes. Thanks, Ethan.
Absolutely.
Have a great rest of the week. We'll talk to you very soon.
Can't wait to get home.
The 608 Soccer Show is part of the 365 Media Network, hosted by Rob Chappell and Ethan Maurice. Produced by Rob Chappell, with a theme song by Rob Dees. Follow the show on Instagram and Blue Sky at 608 Soccer. And remember to subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast app.